see him on the Tonight Show and the Late Show. Please put your hands together. Terry
In case my mom's here. Hey, make fun of her, she's well worth the money. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Have a round of applause for Faith. Your lovely host and producer and a dear friend of mine. I love her. She's so cute and tiny, but I'm just kidding right now. Did I say that out? I heard somebody go, what? I don't know what I'm saying. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been a comedian now for 47 years. I'm very fortunate. I've never had a day job. All I've ever done is make people laugh. And like you said, I've been on the Tonight Show, the Late Show. I've been on America's Got Talent, national commercials. I've had right across the country for 47 years. And now my career is ending tonight. So it's good to be here. But before we get started, there's a lot going on in the world. So how about a moment of silence for the people of Ukraine? On the count of three, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, because there's a lot going on over there. There's a lot of bombing over there. And there's been a lot of that in the show, too. So I'm not going to change it. I'm going to keep going. So my name is Perry Kurtz. That's Perry, as in Perry Como. Some of you may remember him. And there was Perry Mason. Now there's Katy Perry. Only she's a woman. I'm a man. Don't make me prove that. I proved it last week. She looked down and said, "Oh, you're Jewish." My ride's here. Yeah. But I've been very fortunate to make this as my lifestyle. I'm happy to be here. Can everybody see me from where you're seated? My sequence jacket. Last week I had a button from the side. Somebody said I looked like a baked potato with shoes. Was that rude? But people insult me all the time. At this point, I like a guy with legs to walk by. Oh, look, let's see how that works. It's called timing. So let's find out about you guys. Now, first of all, I want you to know, if you don't know what's going on, this is a live comedy show. It's not television. And a lot of people go to shows, and they don't know that we work off your laughter. And they sit there, instead of laughing out loud, they go, well, we can't see everybody. So we need to hear you. So I'm going to ask you some questions. If your answer is yes, I want you to go, ee-haw, as if we're in the deep south. I don't want any breathing while we're doing it, but that's what it was described. All right, so on the count of three, everybody go, ee-haw. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Very good. All right, you're a little bit late, but he was premature, which is not unusual. You got it. At least you're here. You made it. Well, thanks for coming, or however you reacted. All right. Remember, EHA, if your answer is yes. How many people are seeing me tonight for the first time? Okay. How many have never seen me before? All right, I confused some of the people at the bar. We'll simplify it. How many people are here tonight? How many don't know where you are? How many really don't give a shit? My ride's here. She's so tall I would have to go up on her. This is why I became a comedian. All my life I've just been, always had an answer. And when I was 10 years old, I got started. What happened is my father was very abusive. When I was 10 years old, my father had diabetes, and one day he decided he was not going to shoot insulin into his leg, and he became schizophrenic. And one day he came home from work and he just punched me in the face. And another day he just punched me in the face. My nose has been broken 6 times. Oh, thank you, my dear. I'll keep it in my pocket for later. Well, one time he was yelling at my little brother, and he had his hand up. My father was 5'10", and I was like 3'10". I was a little kid. I'm not much taller now. But he was raising his hands, and I stepped in between him. And I said, why do you always got to hit us? He says, do I have to take off my belt? And I looked at him and said, well, it'd be good because it's smaller than your hand. He laughed and he walked out of the room. And I realized that if you make people laugh, they're not angry anymore. And I started making people laugh. And I became very popular because I was a little funny guy in school. So what happened is I got out of art school and I got a job as an art director. And my last job, I was illustrating the Bible. I had to read the Bible every day and illustrate it in full color with watercolors and make it look like a photograph. That was my talent. And I was making $142,000 in '73. Okay, multiply that times 5 or 6. I was loaded. But the last day that I worked 18 hours in a row. Remember, I'm reading this and illustrating it from words. And I'm taking the shower, and I had a bunch of friends who were living. I'm taking the shower, and I look up, and there's Jesus nailed to the wall. He's got the stakes through his hands and his feet, and the blood's mixing and going between my legs. And I laughed. I thought it was one of my friends. I smashed my head on the shower nozzle. I woke up in a pool of blood, and all my friends standing over. I'm laying there naked, my flapping my head, pouring the blood out. And I went to a doctor, I went to the hospital, and they said that I had a hallucination because I've been making this up all day and for weeks, that when I relaxed, it came out of my body. So I quit the job. I had about 65 grand in the bank, and I lived on that until 79. And then I moved to San Francisco, where my first job was, I became a male stripper. I'll tell you when it's a fucking joke. All right, so you don't believe me? All right, here we go. Walk, 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 walk. Yeah, try and keep your food down after that. So I haven't had alcohol since '73, which is when I started doing comedy. What happened is I was in Atlantic City. Anybody from the East Coast here? Me and one fucking person. Okay, great. We're two. All right, 4 fucking people. All right. Well, I grew up in the East Coast in Philadelphia. And if you lived in Philadelphia or New York and you went down the shore, you went to Atlantic City. So I was going down to Atlantic City, and one night I was in a bar drinking double shots of Southern Comfort, chased with a Coke, no ice. Anybody drink Southern Comfort? You know what it is? It's like pure alcohol and candy. That's it. Well, I drank 6 double shots of Southern Comfort on a dare. And a guy got up and I turned into liquid mercury and I slid off the stool until my face hit the floor. And I'm laying there saying to myself, well, I'm drunk as shit. It should be easy to pick up a woman now. Ladies, why do guys get drunk and think they're extra sexy? Because they can mumble and drool at the same time. So I walked out of the bar, I went to another bar, and I'm trying to pick up a woman in a dance club, and I'm dancing. I was on bandstand in 67, 68 in Philadelphia. So I'm dancing, or trying, and nobody would talk to me. The women all give me the finger, tell me to get away. And finally, I walked up this one woman in the corner. She had really big hair. I don't know if you remember the 70s when they had the big beehive haircuts. And I'm talking to her, but she's just staring at me. Just staring. She wasn't responding. I got upset. I walked out of the bar, walked across the street, went to the dock, looking at the ocean, watching the waves, crying, nobody wants me. I'm going to die alone. I'm just going to kill myself. And I stepped off the dock. What I didn't see was 6 feet down, sticking out was another dock. Landed on it, smashed my head, knocked myself out, woke up in jail. My friend bails me out. I had a bump on my head the size of a baseball. And he said, man, you were a mess last night. What do you remember? I said, last thing I remember is talking to a girl with really big hair. And he said, girl with big hair, you're on your knees talking to a bar stool. So I stopped drinking and became a comedian. But when I got to San Francisco, I got a job emceeing a male strip show. And I was up there managing the club and talking to dirty ladies until they would ask me to strip. And I would get up there, of course, anything I do looks funny. Which one? It was called the Off-Broadway, right at the corner of Broadway and Kearney. It's closed now. Really? That's weird because it was for women only. You've changed.
San Francisco, you said.
Well, yeah. Well, if you were women, you were one ugly bitch.
That was 30 years ago.
30 years ago. I'm gone. You're barely 30 years old. I got shoes older than you. And some people just can't get laid in a woman's prison with a fistful of pardons. Thanks for getting that. I love when you work this shit out and you sit there and you go, oh, I get that. That's funny. All right. Yep. So a little bit more about me. In '79, I moved to San Francisco, and in '83, I was having dinner with Bill Cosby. Because I ran a major club, I got to have dinner with him. And one night, we had a beautiful blonde actress there, and when she got up to go to the bathroom, he reached over and dropped a pill into her drink. She came back, drank it 20 minutes later, asleep on the table. He gets up, goes to the dial phone. Anybody remember those when they were on the wall? He dials a number, a limousine pulls up, 3 of his guys come out, they pick her up, and they're carrying her vertical. And one guy's swinging her arms around going, put me down, like she's still awake. And they carried her in the car, closed the door, and they drove away. And he just goes on talking, and then Rodney Dangerfield sat down. So Bill was a pig. You know, I mean, here's a guy, all he knew how to say was, the cleanest, that's what he said, the cleanest. Yep, so I met him, and one of my best friends was Robin Williams. We did a lot of improv together. And then I met Milton Berle. Anybody remember Uncle Milton? He was my mentor. He taught me about comedy and how to focus on material and how to tell stories about your life and how to have waiters walk by and then 2 at a time and then another one goes by. It's amazing how this shit all happens magically. But he brought me down here to play the Friars Club. And that was great because I got to meet all the famous stars. One night I got off the stage and Johnny Carson walks up to me. And he takes my hand, he goes, kid, you're very funny, and you're likable, that's a good thing. Joey Bishop, who's like my height, looks at me and goes, very funny. Then Phyllis Diller, anybody remember Phyllis Diller, the first lady comedian? She comes up to me, she hugs me, she grabs my face and kisses me hard on the lips for 3 seconds. And I know it was 3 seconds because I heard myself go, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and she pulls away, and her wig fell off. And they said, you dropped your wig. She goes, fuck it, I got $1 million of them. I get a tap on the shoulder, little bald fat guy. He hits my face, he goes, nice try, kid. Don Rickles. After he said that, Carson walks up and he says, if Rickles heckled you, you have a future. And now I'm here. All right, so maybe not everything I'm true, but I'm like a guy walking by me looking at his knives. That's not a good thing. He's got 3 knives in it. I'm going to stab you 3 times. So when I moved down here, I wound up getting married. I met a woman online. Anybody heard of this, online dating? It's a new thing. Well, I met my wife online. We talked for 20 minutes on the computer. And then she called me. We talked for 40 hours over 3 days. And she came to my apartment in Playa del Rey, and we fell in love. After about a month and a half, she said, come to my house. I go to her house, there's a guy on the couch, there's a baby on the floor, and a little boy in the girl in the corner playing with blocks. I said, honey, who are these kids? She goes, oh, I guess I forgot to tell you. I have children. And I'm looking at the 2 doors thinking, which one's going to get me the hell out of this house faster? There's old saying, don't date somebody with children. She had 3 of them. Well, we all moved in together, and I found that they did not know their fathers. So one night at dinner, I gave everybody a little gold ring, put on their finger, and I said, I'd like to ask you to marry me. And all the kids said, okay, and my future ex-wife said, well, what the hell, I'm here. So we all got married. So I have 3 stepchildren now that are in their 30s, and in 2004, I gave birth to my baby. I have my own child, who is now 17 years old, and I love this child with all my heart. Anybody here children that you know of? Almost everybody here should be raising their heads. Yeah, she is my life. I took her to karaoke down in Woodland Hills at Paoli's. Anybody ever go down there? I'm stopping on the way down there. She got up and sang. Hi, how you doing? Good, thanks for answering so quickly. I thought he was going to punch me out. I really did, dude. Yep, so I got kids. I'm still alive. Plus, on February 5th, I turned 71. And I've got all my hair. And like Ryan, who is one of my best friends, Ryan the first actor, Valley Genius, I've known him for 12 years, I also have been through a lot of physical illness. On July 20th of 2020, they found a tumor growing out of my hip. They cut it off and they told me that I had kidney cancer. So I was going to get radiation for that for 5 months. Then that sort of subsided, and they told me that I now had liver cancer. And they said that was going to take 26 months to get rid of it. It was all outpatient. I was going in and getting radiation up in Oxnard, and I beat that in 8 months. During that time, I had 2 heart attacks. I had sepsis, which is a horrible blood disease, paralysis where I couldn't move for 4 days, and I had my hip replaced. All this in a year and a half. And I can't get no pussy? My favorite laugh. Last week, a woman performed a smash and grab on me outside of a club. And I called the police, and when they got there, they couldn't do anything because she swallowed the evidence. All right, I'm going to leave you with the only joke I actually wrote. See, I just tell true stories. I don't write anymore after this. And I perform almost every single night. Every Monday night, I'm at one of Ryan's shows because I love Ryan with all my heart. And if Faith does anything, I'll be glad to be there. All right, here's one. It's really weird. You ever been masturbating on your mother's pillow? And all of a sudden, she opens her eyes. Well, your mother told me to tell you she sends her love. That's a joke. My name is Kurtz. You guys are wonderful. Thanks for being here. Don't forget Andrew. He's working real hard right now. He messes up and now he's cleaning up. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the lovely Faith.